Two things are going to happen on Saturday when USC plays Oregon. Marvin Powell III, MVP3, he's back. He's joining us. He and I will tell you about that, what those two things are. But before we talk about USC versus Oregon, we're going to give you our final thoughts on USC's huge win over Iowa at home at the Coliseum in the rain. Had some significance. Marvin's going to give us his thoughts on that. That's coming up next on this episode of Locked On USC.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone, and welcome to Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is also now the #1 sports podcast network. So whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, you get to pick the platform. This show's always going to be free. This show is always going to appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, if you can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets that you can use across the entire app. Download the FanDuel app today. All right, so USC has a chance to do something it's never done in its history. I mean, think about USC's long, illustrious history. They've never done this before. All they have to do is win 2 more games, and they're going to pop their cherry. They're going to make the playoffs. Marvin and I, we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But first, I want to get MVP3's thoughts on what he watched this past Saturday. Marvin, big come from behind victory, right? 26-21 over a physical, a mature Iowa squad. Let me break this down. We're going to do this in 3 parts. So my first question to you, overall, what did you like about USC's come from behind victory?
I like the fact that, listen, going into the game, we had one of the top offenses in the country. They have one of the top defenses in the country, and down 14-0 to a run-based team at home in the rain. I mean, we found a way to pull it out, man. I mean, we showed resiliency, heart, toughness, grit. We showed the makings of a champion. Now, I'm not, listen, I know we have a lot to improve on as a whole, as a program, but when you look at the way we won that game, just being behind against a tough team, a tough defense. Listen, we said going into this game, they run the ball and they play defense. They came out throwing the ball on us. It was 14-0 quick. They're throwing it to their #1 receiver. They're throwing it to the tight ends. I mean, first couple of series, I'm thinking, is this their game plan, in the rain to surprise us with the pass? But we buckled down, defensively. You got to give credit to Lynn and his staff. I've been talking about, our all-star defensive coaching staff. They showed up. Whatever happened at halftime, the conversation, the adjustments, whatever it was, I mean, it worked. And I'm very proud of our coaches, proud of Lincoln Riley for getting this tough win. And again, I'm happy to see our offense that has, the top receivers, and we have our stud 3rd string, 4th string running back. We did it. We pulled it out, man. And when it was 14-0, I still felt positive. I felt optimistic because we have a quick strike offense. And for us, I've seen Lincoln, come from behind before. We've all seen it. And even going back to last year against A&M. But we were gritty, man. We showed up when we had to. We responded to the challenge. We were in really adverse situation, and we showed the heart of a champion. We really did. So you have to give credit to this coaching staff. You have to give credit to our offensive line. Jaden standing in the pocket. I mean, he looked composed, unbothered, tough. We played strong in the second half. We played the second half the way we should have played last year in all those games where we were tied. Remember last year we were winning in every single game in the 4th quarter, but we didn't have enough to get over that hump. We're past that point now, which is great. We're past that point. Our guys are battle tested. They've been through the fire a little bit. We've had a lot of ups, had some downs, but these guys showed up, man. They showed up. And what I see is our team getting tougher and tougher and responding. So for me, I felt great about that win. I told you in the last show I was on that we could score 40 points. And if it wasn't raining, we would have. They had no answer for Mekhi Lemon. I mean, he's getting the ball. He's a #1 guy. They have no answer for this dude. So, Jacoby stepped up. Our tight ends were in the game. Running back King Miller was out there running hard. And really proud of our O-line. Really proud of our O-line. Just the way they blocked and they kept a clean pocket for the most part. Iowa had some pressures, but for the most part, we saw a clean pocket in the rain when we were down. And I was just really proud of what Lincoln did and our coaching staff.
Oh, absolutely. Look, Makai Lemon, without him on this team, I don't know how successful they would be or if they would have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
But that dude is just nails. I mean,
Right.
he is willing to sacrifice his body. It doesn't matter. You know, you throw it high over the middle. He will go up, he will get it, and he'll take the hit. You had that going for you. You had, I thought, the two great defensive plays. Jakeem Stewart, his hustle following the play. All of a sudden, the ball bounces into his hands. He has his first interception of his college career.
Mm-hmm.
The field awareness of safety Kennedy Urlacher, who had to come in because USC was down both of their starting safeties. So you had Christian Pierce and Kennedy Urlacher back there. But the field awareness to know that, hey, the guy just can't come down in bounds. So he used all of his energy, all of his momentum. I mean, he was making a sprint from center field. And when he got to that sideline, he made sure that that Caden Weegan did not come down in bounds. I mean, that was the play because I was white knuckling it. I was like, all right, here we go again. Illinois all over again.
Urlacher. Yeah, he on that pass to the tight end into the game. I mean, he showed awareness and toughness, got that guy out of bounds, and really happy to see this guy coming off the bench to get in there at the end of the game when it's crucial and make plays for us. And even on Jakeem's pick, how about Marcellus Williams, the cornerback, got his hand in there. This kid's getting better, man. I mean, listen, he lost to the receiver at the beginning of the game. They threw a pass in their first drive. He got beat, but he was there in coverage. He got beat for the ball, but that kid's getting better. We're seeing him really get tougher. We're seeing him just play with more confidence. And he was instrumental in that play where Jakeem picked it off, just getting his hand in there and batting that ball up. So it was really a team effort, and I'm seeing the guys get better. I'm seeing, Anthony Lucas had a nice little strip sack before they had a flag. Jakeem, freshman, 17 years old, he's out there making plays. It makes you, when you watch, Marcellus and you watch Jakeem, you feel really good about our future. These are young players. Keep in mind, we have, the number one recruiting class coming in this year. So these guys are, doing a great job developing these players. We talked about that, a few episodes ago. Our guys being developed, where they at? They're getting better. Lincoln Riley and his staff are coaching their butts off right now. And you see at the end of the game how Lincoln was all excited. I mean, he's usually calm and cool and kind of coy. But this dude, he lost it at the end of the game, just full of excitement. That shows you how much emotion and how much they're putting into this. So going into this week, we need all that. We'll get into that. But very, very happy to see what our team was able to do in a really tough situation. And really, again, just really proud of our coaching staff because for them, listen, they've been getting beat up all year on a defensive staff, just, by the media, by guys like us, just talking about, coverage in the beginning of the season and our D-line and our linebackers. They put it together. And they found a way to get a win against a good team. And one of the best defenses in the nation. I mean, Makai Lemon and Jada Maava really showed out.
Let me ask you, I want to kind of piggyback off of that comment you just made, because I talked about a little bit Lincoln Riley, how much emotion he was showing after that victory. Jumping up and down on the field, chest bumping. It felt like they just won the championship.
Right.
That note, and again, I get it. I really do. When I was talking about it, it wasn't in a negative term. I was just like, wow, he's really excited about beating Iowa at home. Mm-hmm. Was this in a couple of sentences, was this a program defining moment for Lincoln Riley, winning that game the way they did?
Definitely. I mean, again, you have to remember where we come from. Last season, all those games in the second half, in the fourth quarter, we're winning, we're tied, and we lose half of those games. We didn't have the we didn't have the it factor to
they lost all those games, not half of them. They lost them all.
With that said, you see a difference here. So, whether it's Nebraska, whether it's Iowa, it's good to see our guys finish. It's good to see us finish, play tough, play smart. And I'm really proud of where we're at right now. And a lot of fans, wanted to see this a couple of years ago. Again, our program was behind a little bit, but you see it coming together with the wins, with the effort. and just really proud of our guys.
Final question before we wrap up Iowa. Why do you think this team starts their game so slowly coming out of the gate, especially when the coaching staff it emphasizes all throughout the week? Coach Riley even talked about it at the beginning of the week. This game is more than the other, means more than the other games, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
With so much on the line, especially playing at home on homecoming.
Right.
And I get it was raining, but what's the mindset of players that say, we'll just flip the switch at halftime? You can't have that mindset.
Right. I get it. Listen, at the end of the day, we're dealing with young people, emotions, something to factor in. The players knew how big this game was. They hear it. They feel it. In that building, they know exactly what the standard is. They realize what's at stake. We're talking about the playoffs. That's where we need to be as a program in the playoffs every year. That's what USC is about. So, why they start slow, I can't speak on that because I'm certain that Lincoln has he has a plan and he's talking to these guys about starting fast. But right. Mark, like I told you before, man, one thing that every coach preaches is finish. So the last play doesn't matter. The play before doesn't matter. What happens is on this play, what happens is what we do on the next play. So, what we did is we didn't start fast, but we finished. And we finished in a way where we could win the game. Offense, defense, we look good out there. Special teams, our kickers making plays for us. I mean, it really all came together. And as the game goes on, again, because we have better talent, we have a better roster. As the game goes on, it favors us without question, because as we sub in and sub out, again, with Urlacher, we're out Bishop and we're out number 7. And these are 2 top safeties. Yeah, come on. We have 2 top safeties out of the game. We bring guys off the bench to come in there and they're balling. These guys are making plays. So listen, we our team, our depth, we're seeing it. The coaching, we're seeing it. Guys getting better, we're seeing it, and we're finishing. We're finishing games like we didn't do last year. That's an improvement. Our program is getting better. And the results in the record shows that.
Maybe that's the formula. Start the guys on the bench. Send a message. Right?
No, we don't want to do that. We want to play our best 11 for sure, but it's good to see. Listen, whether it's our running backs, whether it's our safeties, whether it's our O-line, we're losing guys left and right, and guys are stepping up. So listen, that's coaching. That's having guys ready. That's depth. So again, I mean, I'm really proud of what we've been doing, what we've done, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next Saturday.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next segment because USC has a chance to do something they've never done before.
Right.
Ever. And we're going to talk about that. And then in the final segment, you and I are going to give our thoughts on Oregon. We're going to give our reasons why I'll use the word hate, why we dislike that program and that fan base so much. All that's coming up next on this episode of Locked On USC. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game, Marvin, or you want to ride that hot hand, guess what? FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to the fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay, and that's going to give you a shot for a huge payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel, sign up. That's FanDuel.com. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. I want to say thank you again for making Locked On USC your first listen every day. And I also want to say thank you for helping make the Locked On Podcast Network the number 1 sports podcast network in the country. So thank you. All right, Marvin, when the season started, Las Vegas set the line at 7.5 wins for USC. That was easy money. I mean, you look at the schedule and you're saying, all right, take my money and give it back to me when they win 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about this before the season, throughout the season. Win your 7 home games. You're there. They've already done it. They've done it 6 times now. They're undefeated at home so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
They went on the road. They beat Purdue. This is why we're at 8 wins right now. They're beating the teams they're supposed to be, and you're winning at home.
Yeah.
So USC has 8 wins. They have a chance to add at least 2 more. If the Trojans actually close out the season on a 5-game winning streak, I think they're a shoo-in to make their very first playoff ever. So I guess it's not if, but when USC wins in Eugene, it's going to be the first time since 2011. It's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah. And if that happens, it's going to open up that clear path for USC's first playoff appearance. They'll be 9-2. They'll be 7-1 in conference. They'll have that top 10 win, and it'll be on the road. Now all they have to do is kind of avoid that another 13-9 type of letdown at the end of the year, assuming you get by Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody understands where I'm going with that. So, Marvin, take off your cardinal and gold glasses right now. What are USC's chances to see this through to fruition? Winning on the road at Oregon, coming home, winning that crosstown showdown.
Listen, both teams are banged up. Both teams are playing for something here. This is huge for Oregon. It is huge for us. Oregon is not a lock to make the playoffs. They're in a good position right now, but they're not a lock to make the playoffs at all. Either is USC. And listen, if I'm Lincoln Riley, I'm not even talking about any other game except for Oregon. The reality is, Mark, as you said, we're already in the playoffs. This is a one and done thing situation right now, because for us, it's playoffs or bust. Nothing else is going to satisfy us. There is a huge difference between going 10-2 and 9-3. Okay, huge difference. Right? So for us, it's about being able to battle that offensive line they have, big and athletic and strong. But this is huge, Mark. This is big, and Lincoln knows it. The team knows what time it is. Don't worry about if the guys know and are they going to be ready. They know exactly what's at stake. They feel it. Their coaches are on them, and this Oregon game is going to be big for us. Listen, we can win this game. We should win this game. At the beginning of the season, Mark, I said that we were going to go 11-1. I kid you not. And I'll be honest with you, the game I was looking at was Oregon. The game was Oregon. But as I watch our team get better and I watch us fight through different situations on the road, in the rain, against all these power running teams, and I'm watching our team, our young guys play better. I'm watching the guys come off the bench and play well. I feel good about this. At the end of the day, it comes down to our quarterback and our offensive line. That's really what I'm thinking about. We're going to have to score points. Oregon's going to score points. I believe they're going to score points. And I do think we have one of the top 3 offenses in the nation. I mean, that's, I think statistically we're number 2, but there are some other teams out there. But Jaden Mayav is the guy, man. He's playing so well right now. You look at how clean the pocket is. Against Iowa, there were a few pressures, but for the most part, he was just standing in the pocket. He was standing in the pocket, delivering the ball, doing his thing. As old linemen are getting hurt, new guys are coming in, guys are coming back from injury. O-line coach Hansen, he is without question our MVP. I've said it before. He's coaching his butt off. He has those guys ready. How about King Miller? How about his brother? His brother was out there bowling, playing physical. I'm watching this kid. He's physical out there. We got Killian back. He's physical. I love Killian. He's aggressive. He attacks. He comes off the ball. I mean, he strikes with his hands. I love how this kid plays. So listen, we're going to have our hands full. This is going to be a game. But because of our offense being quick strike, because nobody in the country has an answer for Makai Lemon, because Jaden Mayava is just so confident and playing with so much poise and mental toughness, I feel good about this. We'll do a score later on, but I think Makai and Jaden in that line are going to be the difference.
So definitely USC's passing game has to take advantage of. I think they actually have the advantage going up against Oregon's secondary. So you put that check mark in the USC's column when it comes to the passing game. Mm-hmm. Now, that's going to get balanced out. Oregon can run the ball, and they can run it very, very, very well. What they did, they put up 260 yards on the ground at Iowa.
Yeah.
If USC does not start this game on defense, ready to play, can get real ugly, get real messy, real fast, because it's supposed to be raining.
Yeah,
so it's another one of those types of environments.
And listen, let me tell you right now, Oregon's O-line is big and athletic. Those boys can move. That could be to our advantage. It can be to our advantage because when you play against somebody that's so big, a lot of times they're not as quick. You can beat them laterally. And we may have with Jakeem Stewart, how he's playing. I mean, he may have a huge game. That kid is, he's tall, he's lean, he's strong, he's muscular, he's quick. This could be a great game for him. A great matchup. But their O-line is the real deal. They are the real deal. They are physical. I mean, you're looking at in Michigan, Notre Dame, that type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Iowa traditionally has a very good offensive line, but Oregon's O-line is the real deal, and we're going to have a serious challenge. And this, I mean, with the rain, I don't know if it's going to be low scoring or running, but we're going to have to score points to beat this team. I mean, this isn't going to be a 25 or 26, 21 game. We're going to have to put up some points.
I definitely think that the first team to 30 wins it. You and I can, later in the week, we'll give our prediction, our final score prediction after we kind of find out who's going to be available or assume who might be available. Again, there's going to be a very good chance that USC is not going to be playing with either Bishop Fitzgerald or Kamari Ramsey.
Yeah.
Elijah Page is also probably iffy at left tackle. And who else? I don't know. But yeah, it's going to come down to availability and is the team ready to play when that whistle blows? Because again, it's one thing to come out of the gate slow against Iowa when you're playing at home.
Yeah.
Iowa, yes, maybe they surprised USC a little bit with their passing game.
They did.
So aggressive with it in the beginning,
right?
But you can't bring that type of mentality up to Oregon in the first half because they will boat race you right out of the stadium because they can score. They can score quickly. They're explosive also.
Right.
And trust me, Marvin, me saying anything positive about that program, it's like bile coming up in my mouth. I can taste it.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, the perfect way to segue into the next segment. Reasons why I hate and dislike that program so much. I'm sure you might have a couple of reasons. I've got one in particular. I'm going to start the segment off with that once we do this. All right. So, Marvin, my hate, disdain, dislike, I think it started for me with their fans, and it happened back in 1999. You might be familiar with that game.
Right.
So USC lost 33-30. It was triple overtime game. It was up there on the road. I was there in the stands, and I could not believe Oregon fans. I mean, literally, Carson Palmer, he comes out of the locker room at halftime, arm in a sling, wearing street clothes, and the fans are mocking him. They're pointing and saying, "Hey, look what we did. We broke your arm." No one really knew it was a collarbone, but I just saw him all slinged up and say, we did that. And I was like, this is lowbrow. I cannot believe I'm hearing this from their fans. Maybe I should believe it. I mean, that's what you get up there.
The jealous.
Yeah. Well, from that point forward, that team, its fan base, it's left a really, really sour taste in my mouth. And it doesn't help that they've beaten USC a lot in recent times, but that was the moment for me. I call their fan base the least sophisticated fan base in the country. Do you have any thoughts on the floats, aka the waterfowl? And the reason I call them the floats is ducks float, but so does poop. And
gotcha.
you guys can decide which is which.
Listen. At the end of the day, people say USC is arrogant. Our fans are arrogant, snooty. Listen, we have 11 national championships, 8 Heismans, 6 overall #1 picks. We have more players drafted into the NFL than any other program, and we're a top 25 academic institution, and we're in LA. People hate it for that. Those are all facts. Those are all reasons to feel confident. Oregon has nothing but uniforms. They have uniforms. They have nice uniforms, colorful uniforms. They lead the league in the best uniforms. They do, without question. They lead all the country. That's where they're the best. Outside of that, what do they have? They have no national championships, 1 Heisman. I think Mariota is that the only Heisman for them? I know. So football-wise, honestly, they're not relevant. If the results matter, I mean, you look at USC, you look at Notre Dame, you look at Alabama. Where's Oregon? Oregon's not even. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? So they're one of the many programs and teams that probably hate USC, jealous of USC. All they hear about is USC. All they want are LA kids and California kids. So mocking Carson and just being who they are, being ugly. those are all signs of jealousy. They hate us because they're not us. You know what I mean? And that's just the bottom line. And they're going to hate us even more on Saturday, but I'll hold back on that one.
You were at that game.
I was.
Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah,
listen.
pretty good game.
I mean, it was a good game if you're an Oregon fan. I don't ever, it's like people say USC Texas was a great game. No, it wasn't. It was a horrible game, Listen, Akili Smith was the man that year. That was my senior year. Carson was our freshman quarterback. It was me and Chad in the backfield, Chad Morton in the backfield. And we did our best. Believe me, we did. But Akili Smith did us in the end. Kudos to them. They won that game. That was 25 years ago. I'm not thinking about that anymore, Mark. I'm thinking about what's coming up on Saturday. I feel good about this. And when you tell me that they were booing and making fun of Carson, I like them even less now. I don't recall that, but I believe you. I believe you.
Well, where my seats were kind of situated where the team comes out of that little tunnel.
Yeah.
And then makes their way to the sideline. And I was like, okay, this is what these guys are all about. Okay, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah. They got Phil Knight. That's their claim to fame.
Yes.
They got Phil Knight. The leaves are beautiful, but they don't have a trophy case. They don't have a trophy case.
Imagine if Phil Knight was not their biggest donor. What do they offer?
They'd be Oregon State. What you mean? They'd be Oregon State. They'd be Oregon State. That's who they would be, Oregon State. So, I don't know, what other than NIL, I don't know what's really attracting kids to go up there. I don't know what they're offering these kids, outside of nice uniforms, but they have nothing. And when you look at their program, their athletic program, their school as a whole academically, they're just not relevant. I may get some Oregon people bashing me in the comments.
Who cares? Bring it.
Exactly.
No, look, it's a program. It's a fan base. They think they were born on third base when they were actually born in the dugout.
Yeah,
in the backseat of a van, and they somehow or another, they've figured out how to be a relevant program. And let's give some credit to where they're at right now. They're relevant. People talk about it. They talk about all of their 10,001 uniform combinations. But bottom line is this: you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
they talk a big game, but they got nothing to back it up. That trophy case empty except for Mariota's Heisman Trophy. That's it. Ask anybody the best wide receiver to ever come out of Oregon. You know the name? I know the name.
Ahmad?
Ready? Ahmad Rashad. He was known as Bobby Moore back in the day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Felicia's husband. Yep.
Yeah. That's right. Listen, I will tell you this. They have a good young head coach. Dan Lanning is a good coach. He's a good coach, Mark. He's a good coach.
He's an arrogant son of a.
Yeah, but he's trying to build his program. He's trying to give them that killer instinct. He's trying to take that. He was down south for a while in Alabama and was in part of a lot of Southern football. He's trying to bring that mystique to Oregon, and it's tough, especially when you look at a trophy case with no trophies in it. You know what I mean? What are they playing for? What pride? What legacy? What history? At USC. I played for the men who came before me at USC. I'm talking about Mike Garrett. People forgot about Mike Garrett. Mike Garrett, Juice, all these great Trojans that, come from the 60s and the 70s. Oregon doesn't really have that. Right now, they're trying to build that. I think right now what we're looking at, is really the beginning of Oregon getting into greatness. If they played for national championships, they played, they've been in the playoffs. So, they have a good program. I'm not even knocking that. And Dan Lanning, his arrogant self, his cocky self, he's a good coach, man. And he gets those guys fired up. He does. But, at the end of the day, I believe in what we got. I believe in our guys. And I just don't know if anybody can stop this offense when we get going. So I feel good about us, man. But again, that's another conversation.
Here's my positive on Oregon. They've gotten past the point where they need to put billboards up in LA in USC's backyard trying to recruit players. Yeah. I remember the game when Kerry Colbert and Kareem Kelly and BMW went up to Eugene, Oregon, and they mimicked that pose that they did on that billboard over there off the front row in the 110 freeway. And they let everybody in Oregon know, we're wide receiver U. We came up here. We got the win. We're going home. You're sad. I want to see that same energy after this game. I don't care who makes the pose. but somebody needs to get Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, and they just need to find two new kinds. Get out there, go do that pose after you get the win. There'll be enough people who will remember to understand what it's all about.
And going into this game, they have Bear Alexander and Emmanuel Pregnog, as their team captain. The USC transfers, our transfers are now the team captains for this USC game. So that should be interesting. I want to see how that goes and see how these guys play. But it was smart for Lang to do that, make it even more emotional to a degree, get these guys fired up, get them inspired to come to beat their old team, which is not going to happen. But I thought that was a cute move by Coach Lanning to make them team captain.
I'll say what, I hope they took the biggest picture they can find of each one of those dudes' faces and put them up in the locker room. And I don't know what the team wants to do, but I want to see what those faces look like at the end of the day, because I have a feeling a lot of stuff's going to be thrown at the wall.
Yeah, listen, I doubt that the players, the players see it as strictly business. They're going to go out there and do what they do regardless. But again, having Bear Alexander of all people, just considering how that whole situation went with him, especially in that Michigan game. But we won't go back. We won't talk about the Michigan game last year. Emmanuel Pregnon, good player, very good player, big guy.
Well, he gave USC. He did USC wrong.
He did. He made a business move. He did the same thing any adult would do in that situation. Anybody in corporate America. Oh, I work for IBM, but Microsoft's gonna give me more money. So I don't knock the kids for that. I really don't. I don't.
See, this is where I have a hard time, Marvin. He renegotiated USC in good faith. Said, "All right, here's more money. Come play the bowl game." And then all of a sudden, after the bowl game, guess what? I'm going to Oregon. When it comes to team sports.
Yeah,
I get it, and especially in today's era of college football, money drives everything. But there still has to be enough inside of you to say, you know what? Those are my guys. Those are the guys that help make me better. And now I'm all of a sudden going to take my talent and go to Oregon because they're giving me an extra $100,000 over what USC's given me. Please.
Well, if it was only 100,000, then I would question that move, to be honest with you. But
I don't know what the exact number was, but
I'm saying, I mean, I would think it had to be substantial, whatever that means. I'm thinking at least a quarter meal. At least, I hear what you're saying, man. But I'm not mad at these kids for making those decisions, because a lot of these kids come from really their background isn't great, and an extra $100,000, $250,000 that can go a long way if you know what you're doing.
Absolutely, it helps. It sets up their family, helps everybody out. I really do.
Yeah. But as a Trojan, for me personally, again, I was before the NIL era, and playing at USC was like the greatest thing in the world. When Coach Robinson offered me a scholarship, that one of the best days of my life. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I would have paid USC to go to USC. I would have paid them. I would have gone as a walk-on if that's all I could get, because it was in my heart. You know what I mean?
Me too.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to see me smiling during the day, here's what I need to see. I need to see Emmanuel Pregnon on his butt giving up 3 sacks.
Yeah.
And I need to see each one of USC's offensive linemen pancaking Bear Alexander.
They will.
That's all I need.
Yeah, they will.
I want to win, but if I can get that as well, I'll be smiling.
Yeah, no doubt. Me too, Mark.
You and I, we're going to talk more about Oregon later this week. So, can't wait till that happens. But that's the end of this episode of Locked on USC. I mean, that's how fast this thing is.
Happens fast, man.
Crazy, but it's a lot of fun. Marvin, thank you again. Be ready to give your score prediction later this week when we break it all down. USC at Oregon. USC wins that game. It is there. The playoffs are in front of them. All they have to do is beat that team that plays on the other side of town. You got your 10-win season. USC's going to the playoffs. We'll talk about that more and other stuff this week on Locked on USC. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.
Fight on, y'all.